How's it going, guys? So obviously immediately you'll be able to see that the way that this video is set out is a little bit different to normal. The reason for that is it's not really your normal type of video. So yes, this entire video is going to be my stupid mug sitting here talking to you, but I do urge you to listen to this video in its entirety. Okay, now the reason I'm making this video is because, as some of you may have seen, there is some things that's going on with regards to Disgaearpg, and particularly staffing and things happening on the Discord and in-game, right? So I just want to preface this by saying what I'm saying in this video is opinion, okay? It's my opinion based on things I've seen happening, okay? So I could be wrong. I just need to say that just now. I could be wrong, and the things that I'm saying might come to pass, they might not come to pass. You should listen to the information that I'm presenting and make your own decision on what you feel is happening, okay? Now, as you may or not be aware, there is a few key members of staff that no longer work with Disgaearpg, and this was a kind of catalyst for a lot of us to maybe start looking at things a little bit differently in game, okay? So Makoto and Pei were the two most, I want to say, forward-facing members of staff that dealt with Disgaearpg, and in particular dealt with content creators like myself, and also with regards to mods and stuff like that. They done a lot of things like roadmaps for the game, letting us know what's coming out so that we could get ready to prep you guys, make content and stuff like that. They also were who we would speak to if there was problems within the game. So if people had things like cheating happening, if people were making purchases and they weren't getting an answer quick enough from customer service and stuff like that, we could go to these people and they could basically get a direct path to getting these things fixed, okay? Now, both of those people have left the company, and to be honest, it was a little bit unceremonious how they left the company. It went from one minute they were talking about the future to the next minute one of them was leaving, and we then found out the other one was leaving, and it was at the same time, which in itself is a little bit confusing, because generally if you leave because you found a new job or whatever. I don't know about both of these people, but I know one of these people didn't have a new job to go to, so that kind of comes off more as you haven't necessarily chosen to leave, you've more or less been let go, right? Now, as we know, Disgaea has, well, Boltrend has clearly had money issues. I don't think there's any kind of point trying to beat about the bush here. They didn't put voices in for collabs. That was the first sign of it affecting Disgaearpg. They didn't secure the rights to reruns for 7 Deadly Sins, and it looked as though, and it still does look as though, we were not going to get that for Attack on Titan. Again, the reason for that would be money, right? Now, for a kind of bigger picture, you guys are maybe aware, you may not be aware, there's been several game closures. You've had Arc Glad shutting down, which, to be honest, it was never really that popular, so it was hardly unexpected. You've had Atelier Online closing down, you've had Fantasy Life Online closing down, and you've also, believe it or not, had Disgaearpg in China closing down. The thing that started us getting early pity and stuff like that, that's closed. A lot of people don't realise that ended service in December. Now, on top of that, a lot of investment was made in a game called Project Winter, and Project Winter was a disaster. I mean, I don't think Boltrend talk about how much of a disaster it was, but it was a disaster. The only people that played Project Winter were Russian, and it was during a time where, as far as I'm aware, in-app purchases were not available from Russia, so the players who were playing the game couldn't even spend money on it anyway, so there's no money to be made there. So if you take all the money that you've made from Disgaearpg, which is your only successful global franchise, and you divert it into all these failed projects, then clearly that's going to wind down the amount of available money that you have. And it looks, again, speculation, it looks as though that's finally caught up with them, and that's why members of staff have suddenly left the project. Now, the reason I started to worry about it is because when the staff left, one of them happened to mention that they were unsure about the future of Boltrend games. Now, I have to be clear here, these people are not native speakers, so sometimes, native English speakers, sorry, so sometimes things can be a little bit lost in translation, okay? So there was a bit of giving the benefit of the doubt, and I contacted these individuals privately, and I knew that these individuals wouldn't be able to tell me if the game was in any sort of a danger, if the game was likely to close. However, I happened to ask them. I just said, look, my channel is a Disgaearpg channel mainly, without knowing in advance if the game's going to close down, unless I start to put out a more diverse range of content, the day that Disgaea dies, then my channel essentially dies with it. So if you guys could give me a bit of a heads up, should I start diversifying my content? Both of them told me I should start diversifying my content, but they didn't expressly say the game was going to close. So I'm very much the type of person who reads between the lines on things, and to me, that seemed like a hint. Now, again, that's to me. You guys can read into that however you want, but sometimes there's subtext in what people say, and I felt personally like them telling me to start diversifying my content was a little bit of a heads up, you know, this is something that might actually be happening. So you guys will probably be aware that I did not put out a video for the Badass banner for Overlord Natalia and also for Witch Girl Laharo. The reason for this is because, I'll be honest, while I feel uncertain about what the future might hold, I did not want to hype things up to you guys. I didn't want you guys to go and potentially spend money on a banner that who knows if the game's going to have much of a future left. I honestly don't know. And if you were a little bit more observant, you might have noticed that when I was doing my summons on that video, I said something that I never say, which is, this is a badass banner, it uses free currency. If you do not have free currency to summon on this banner, don't go spending money on it, just skip it, right? I've never said that before. So maybe some of you might have detected something was a little bit off then. But again, we didn't know enough, and I don't want to be a catalyst. I don't want to be someone who puts fear and doubt into your heads. You guys stop playing the game, stop spending, and then if the game wasn't going to close, it probably will close as a result of me making a video like this. Now, the reason I am now making this video is because we've had this ongoing issue with customer services, okay? It's been confirmed to us now in our little chat that customer services are no longer going to be dealing with things on the Discord server. They're not going to be on the Discord server, and they're not going to be interacting with people who have problems, okay? Fine. We were told people should contact in-game support if they have any problems. Now that is where the biggest red flag comes up for me, because I know for a fact that there's people who have been contacting in-game customer service. There is people on my Discord, there is people on the public Discord who have had payment issues, things like double billing, things like making purchases and not getting their items, and they've gone unanswered on the main in-game support for over a week. There's been no response. So there's no one doing their job, right? Now, this again is not me saying this game is going to end service, right? It's not. However, as many of you know, these other games I mentioned, like Fantasy Life Online, like Atelier Online, etc., they all experienced similar things. Now, he's probably going to come into my inbox and gloat a little bit about this, but Zalex made a document that kind of explained the roadmap to closure. That's what I'm going to call it, right? And removal of support on the Discord and removal of in-game support was what all of these games did first, before the eventual shutdown a couple of months later. So if we take the way that things are trending just now and apply them to these situations, then it kind of paints a bigger picture, and it makes it seem like that is potentially what is going to happen, okay? Again, the reason that I'm making this video is it's not for like me trying to get views, me trying to get clout or anything, because as you guys know, my channel is built around Disgaearpg. The last thing I want to happen is this game to close down. But I feel a responsibility to you guys. I feel like, you know, you guys have stuck with me for content and stuff like that. And if I'm worried about wasting money on something that might shut down in a couple of months' time, at least I've got the knowledge beforehand that, you know what, this is what I can see happening. I'm still going to spend, right? I've made that decision consciously. If you guys don't know what I know, then you don't have the same opportunity to make that conscious decision, right? Now, this could all be completely wrong. This could just simply be a case of, you know what, staff turnover, they've not got things set up properly, whatever. But what I can say just now is we do not have a roadmap right now. This is the 28th of February, so it's the end of the month. This is where we would normally get our roadmap. They do not have a roadmap. They do not have a roadmap ready to go, and we've been told that it will be at least 2 weeks before we could even get a roadmap because they haven't got the new version approved yet. I don't know what that means. I honestly, I don't know what that means. I don't know what their licensing agreement is with ForwardWorks. I've got no idea, right? All I know is we've had various issues in the past with updates, when we would get an update, etc. But we've still always had the roadmap, right? There's been times where we've had content and they've had to do something in game to push that content out without the update, which meant we would get like the new story event or whatever, but we might have to wait a little bit longer for, just for example, the level cap increase or whatever else was coming with that version. So the fact that we've not had that yet and we can't get an answer on why, to me, it's just another red flag that makes me worry about what's potentially happening with the game. Now, the difficult thing for me is I now feel like I'm in a bit of a catch-22 situation. I still want to make videos telling you about what characters are coming, right? I still want to tell you about like strategies for beating events. I still want to do all that stuff, right? But without talking about this first, I feel like it would have been very disingenuous of me to make videos hyping up a new unit or whatever so that people potentially go and spend money on something when honestly, I myself probably wouldn't spend money on that thing, right? Because I have the knowledge of this could be happening, that could be happening. Sure, it's speculation. Maybe it's paranoia. I honestly, I cannot say. But it's there. And to me, if I was to just put out a video saying, oh my god, Overlord Natalia, she's awesome. She's going to be PvP meta for the next 6 to 12 months. She's going to beat your nieces and stuff. How could I tell you that if I thought there was a chance that this game might not be here in 6 to 12 months? So that's why I didn't make those videos, and I feel like if I do continue to make videos for units and hyping up units and stuff like that, I feel like I would have to do it in a different way. Don't get me wrong, Boltrend might see this video and they might go, you know what, Hayzink, we don't want anything to do with you anymore, which is fine, right, which is fine. But at the same time, it might prompt them to give answers. It might prompt them to tell people things that they want to know, right? There is starting to become a lot of talk within the public Discord, within my Discord that's now popping up, where people are speculating about end of service. And I feel like me talking about this now is not really a bad thing, because presenting the information of why people feel that way, you might look at that and feel totally different. You might, you know. I think for me, the biggest thing that kind of made me worry, to be honest, was twofold. I mean, it was people unceremoniously leaving the company at the same time, which reeks of layoffs, to be honest, and the fact that those people says to me that while not confirming what was happening with the game, they said that it would be a good idea for me to diversify the content that I make. I don't know. I just take that as a hint. I take that as a hint that's basically saying to me, look, Hayzink, you might not have long left, so you might want to make something else. But again, that could simply be people who are upset that they've left the company and, you know, they don't really want to have the person who was making content helping that company continue to make money. They could just simply be a case of, you know what, why would we support you helping them, you know? So I'm going to tell you to make new content because long term you could get a bigger audience by doing a bigger game. It could be something as simple as that, you know? But like I say, at the sum of its parts, if you take everything together, staff layoffs, no customer service, no support on the Discord, no returning collabs before that, no voices in game, wasting a lot of money on games that have not turned a profit. All of these things taken together does throw up a lot of red flags for me, and it is why I ultimately feel like maybe we could be kind of trending towards that. Without Boltrend actually saying anything, again, this is speculation. I don't want to ruin this game. I don't. Honestly, this is a very difficult video for me to make because I am obviously very aware that I have a certain degree of influence. I don't like that term. I don't like to think that I have any influence, but I know that I do to a certain extent because more people watch me for Disgaea content than anyone else, and even Boltrend's channel directly. So I am possibly saying something that might resonate with you, that you think, okay, yeah, I think he's right, and it might affect how you play the game. It might make you stop playing the game. I don't know. I don't want to make this video, but at the same time, I don't feel like I would be doing right by you guys if I didn't share my concerns. So I want to temper this video at the end to state again explicitly, I am not saying that Disgaearpg is going to shut down. I am not saying that Disgaearpg is going to post end of service. I'm simply saying to you that based on things that myself, mods, have seen, a few of us are starting to think that's maybe the way that we're heading, but again, we could all be adding 2 and 2 together and getting 5, you know? I just want to share my worries, their worries with you to allow you to make your own decision. Now, the only positive I can kind of bring onto this is, I said at the start, well, I didn't say at the start, I said it not too long ago, that I would continue to make videos on this game until Disgaearpg was going to close down. So I will still continue to make videos for the game. I will still continue to let you know what's coming. I'll still continue to let you know about events, characters you can use, stuff like that. Assuming that everything does suddenly right the ship and we get the roadmap and things move on, then I'll try my best to go back to business as usual, because it will probably mean that maybe I was wrong, you know, maybe a lot of us were wrong. But I will use this opportunity to say to you that I know a lot of you guys, this is your first gacha game. I know that, right? And I need you guys to fully be aware that these are games that are service-based games. These are games that, when they are not profitable anymore, they are going to stop running, and you are going to no longer have access to the game that you want to play, okay? You've seen several examples of that this year already. There's been plenty of games as service games that have closed, okay? And it keeps looking like there's a brain appearing behind me. It's my wife's jacket sitting over on the couch. I don't know if you can see it, it's really annoying. But anyway, they've closed down, right? And essentially your investment in said game is gone, right? So when it comes to playing gacha games, whether it be Disgaearpg, whether it be the new Street Fighter game, whether it be Dokkan Battle, whatever, you should not invest money into those games unless you are willing for your money to basically be gone straight away as soon as you've used it. The whole sunk cost fallacy does not work, okay? When you've spent money, you've spent money. You need to get value for your money when you've spent it. You cannot be spending money thinking of the long term, right? If the thing that you are buying is not going to give you immediate satisfaction for the money that you're spending, then don't spend it. It's as simple as that, because these games can die at any moment. This game could go on another year, whatever, it's going to die eventually, right? It's the same with JP, it's going to die eventually. So If you're in the mindset now that the money you spend on the game is good for that day, and I mean obviously the character will last you longer, but if you get satisfaction that day out of spending that money, then it wasn't money wasted. If you need that money to have long-term value that lasts you 6 to 8 months or whatever, then don't do it, because that is what's called the sunk cost fallacy. You're never going to get more value out of that money than the day you spend it, right? It's a trick of the mind. It's what these games prey on to get you to spend money. So if you kind of follow that rule and you only summon for things, knowing that when you summon, you're going to enjoy that thing, you're going to get satisfaction, you're going to get value, then you can keep playing this game until the day it dies. Even if it dies in 1 month's time, it doesn't matter. If it dies in 6 months' time, it doesn't matter, because you will know that you've been satisfied with the money you've spent when you've spent it, right? But if you're someone who needs to know that a game's going to run for years and years and years or whatever, then all I can say is gacha games probably aren't what you should be playing. And that is just my opinion, right? Regardless of the state that Disgaearpg's in or not. Because one day these games, whether it be now, whether it be later, they're all going to close. So just spend wisely and make sure that you can afford to spend, and make sure that if the game was just to suddenly shut down in a week or two's time, you're not going to be absolutely devastated about the money you spent on that game. So again, I just want to really try and hammer home the fact that this is not a confirmation of Disgaearpg ending. It's explaining to you guys why I guess some of us are worried that it could be ending. I've told you why I feel that might be the case. You know what? I'm going to be honest, I've probably put ads in this video. I know I really shouldn't for a video like this, but to be honest, like I don't know what's going to happen with my content after this, because I've got a funny feeling after this video, the next video I put out, probably no one's going to watch it, because there is a good chance that I could kill a lot of the hype for the game. And you know, I'm very conscious of that fact, and in a lot of ways it's why I've questioned should I or should I not make this video. But at the same time, if my feelings are right, and in a month's, maybe 2 months' time, they post a message to say Disgaearpg service is ending, and it just so happens to be after the anniversary, which is a sage, and it'll probably make them a bit of money, I would feel extremely guilty. I would feel like I've sat on knowledge that could potentially have saved people money, and I would feel like it was my fault that those people had wasted money. I feel like by doing this video, I've got a clean conscience. I've told you guys what is kind of worrying me, what's been weighing me down, and anything you do from this point out, and I do from this point out, we're doing with the same level of knowledge that, okay, don't know how long this is going to last, but I'm going to have fun with it until it ends. So yeah, that's really why I'm sharing this. Now, on to me. I am going to attempt to diversify what I do, because you know what? In reality, I should have always done it, because having all my eggs in one basket meant that regardless of whether it was now, whether it's a year's time, whenever this game was to end, then my channel would just die, right? It would. I obviously tried it with stuff like Steam Deck content and stuff like that. I've got the PSVR, I was thinking about putting out like reviews and stuff, but the problem I've got is putting them on this channel, because if someone watches my video for, say, Steam Deck, they're like, brilliant, I like this guy, I like the cut of his jib, I like what he's saying, I'm going to subscribe to him. The next time they log on to YouTube, YouTube's going to say to them, because you watched this, we thought you'd like this, and they'll show them a Disgaearpg video. It makes no sense, right? It makes absolutely no sense. So what I would probably have to do in the future is, if this game was going to shut down, like completely going to shut down, I would have to delist all my Disgaearpg videos to allow me to diversify into other things, okay? Now at the same time, I do have another channel. The problem with that other channel is I don't have the subscriber count and I don't have the watch time to really allow me to put the videos onto that channel. Some of you might say, oh, but why does it matter? I'll be honest, I don't make a lot of revenue from Disgaearpg. You're lucky if it's $100 a month, which honestly is not a lot, but that little bit helps, you know, especially in the current climate, it can be quite helpful. So for me to put that stuff onto my other channel and make $0 at all, when those videos will probably require more editing, more time, more scripting. It doesn't make sense to me, so I'm going to really have to weigh up how I'm going to run things in future. But all I would say is, I hope that my transparency towards you guys, the fact that I'm using this sort of a player first focus, I would love it if you guys would support what I do along this journey. So whether that's trying to grow my second channel, you guys maybe subbing and watching some videos to help me get to my watch time target, anything like that would obviously be fantastic. You can share your thoughts in the comments down below, although I do feel like the comments down below are probably going to be dominated by doom posting, which I understand. But yeah, so again, I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to try and make Disgaearpg content. I hope that I've not sent out a negative picture to y'all, which, to be honest, I feel it's quite unavoidable. I hope you understand why I've made this video. I'm not trying to damn the game. I've never tried to do that. I've been the person that's stood by this game through thick and thin, because there's always been something to stand by. There's always been a silver lining. There's always been something that I've been told from a staff member, something that I've been told is going to happen. There's always been a positive. I don't just spin positives for no reason. There's always been something there that I can spin a positive out of, because there's been a positive outcome at the end of it. With regards to this, however, it very much just is right now. That's almost the feeling from staff. There's one member of staff now doing the job of what seemed like 4 people before, and the answers to this point are very much, trust us, bro. You know what I mean? That's it. And to be honest, when it comes to money, people's money, and people spending money, I don't think trust me, bro is enough. And that's why I'm sharing this. Again, if you think, Hayzink, you're a tool, why you made this video, keep spending. I don't have a problem with that. If you're going to enjoy what you get out of it, keep doing it. But if you're someone who maybe is a little bit more cautious, rather than quitting the game or anything like that, maybe you take a wait and see approach. Maybe you, for now anyway, maybe you only use your free quartz. Maybe you only use stuff that you can earn from events and stuff like that, until we've got a bigger picture. Because having no support and stuff like that, I don't know, it's scary, it's worrying, but it's not confirmation that the game's going to end. Starting to record this video, I said to myself, I'm going to try my best not to be overly negative. I don't feel like I've been negative. Maybe I have, I don't know, right? I don't feel like I've been negative. I've tried to be honest, and if that came off as negative, then I apologise, but I'm just telling you how things are. I'm now looking there and I realise that I've rambled on for 28 minutes. I apologise. I've given my points. I've tried to tie them up. I've tried my best to be clear. As you guys may or may not be aware, I've got ADHD, so my brain goes... I've tried to rein it in. I've tried to give you this as clear as I can. But yeah, that's it. Anyway, guys, I've been Hayzink. This isn't the end. This isn't the end. But we will be back with more Disgaearpg videos. I'll try to go back to my normal happy self, because this isn't going to be playing on my mind anymore. But in future, when it comes to reviewing units and stuff like that, you may find that I'm a little bit more tempered with how I present them. I may be a lot more fact-based with how I present them, which I feel like I have always been up to this point. Because, again, if there is a chance this game is going to end soon, I don't want to be the catalyst that's made you spend money on something and then you feel like your investment's wasted. So let's wait and see, but I'm trying to share as much as I can. Anyway, we've nearly had half an hour. I'm sorry. Goodbye.